Welcome to Batman Unmasked, your companion show for Batman, the Telltale Series. I'm your host, Greg from KindaFunny.com. And before we get into any of these other chuckleheads, let me tell you something. We are going to spoil episode 4 of Batman, the Telltale Series. So if you haven't played that, you need to sort out your life and go do that. We will wait for you here. Let's meet our panel. Mark.
Hi.
How are you?
Wonderful.
What do you do here at Telltale Games?
Well, I directed Batman episode 4 and also cinematic artist.
Okay.
So
good job on episode 4. I want you to know that right now before we get in here, because we get really mean sometimes.
Yes.
That's probably going to happen here.
Okay.
But I wanted to tell you great job.
I'll be ready for it.
All right, good. As long as you know, it's been a fantastic episode. I'm very excited to talk to you about it. Now, Mr. Troy, what do you do at Telltale Games?
I am in janitorial services.
Oh, janitorial services are you now?
So
Okay.
I clean up everything.
No,
No, I have the auspicious, prestigious honor of being Bruce Wayne and Batman, which is very important.
Do you get paid twice?
Yeah, just 2 peanuts.
No.
One for Bruce, one for Batman.
And then rounding out our panel, Henry, how are you?
Good, good.
What do you do at Telltale Games?
I don't work for Telltale.
Excellent. This is an
I do
interesting
enjoy the
guest.
games, though.
Yeah.
I currently on executive producer at Star Wars Rebels. However, I started at Warner Bros. Animation in 1991 and worked on the original Batman animated series.
Wow. So you're royalty.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, please. But I did have been around Batman for, gosh, all my life, and
So what, like 23 years?
22.
Okay, sorry.
But
my
I
apologies.
feel honored to be here, and
Yeah.
I think this Telltale game is really breaking new ground as far as the Batman mythology goes.
And that's the thing, I think, touching on your legacy with Batman, because again, animated show, you've written Batman comics. How are they doing? No one's listening from Telltale. How, like, are they doing all right here?
I'm
with the
not here.
legacy?
Oh gosh. No, I think it's great. I think I had this theory about mythology, and especially when you think about it, Batman was created in comic books, and he's really one of the few original mythological characters created in the United States.
Sure.
And I think after you have so many hands, so many creators, so many writers, so many artists touch a mythology like this, it really can branch out and you can tell different kinds of stories with it.
Well, and I love that analogy too. We are looking at our modern day gods. Batman is absolutely, if you were to look at it from a literature standpoint, he's a god, he's a Hercules, but even more so because there's much more of a human element. So he's almost 3/4 of, Hercules was half and half, he's more like 3/4 man and 1/4 god. For me, the first graphic novel that I ever bought was a Batman origin story. I remember where I was. It was a real small one. It's not like anything you should hold on to. It's not worth anything. But that was my first foray into graphic novels and into nerddom, really, which is kind of where we all find our identity and hopefully find our profession as well. Keep going. But for me, I've played Batman before, but with Lego, it's not lampooning it as much as it is paying homage to all of that. And when you've got over 75 years now of Batman history and so many different iterations of it, where you can pull from Adam West, you can pull from Kevin Conroy, you can pull from Christian Bale even if you want to. It's just a buffet of Batman. What I wanted to see with this, and what I feel like we did a really good job of doing, is going, we know you know this story. If you've been alive in the last 15, 20 years, you've been inundated with Batman lore. We're gonna do something that's really, really different, including doing something different completely with Thomas Wayne. Those are the things that I really gravitated towards when we first started talking about the project. I was like, I wanna do something different. To me, the most fundamental thing that we did that executed that was choosing which mask you wanted to wear. Do you want to be Bruce Wayne the billionaire and attack these problems from a human standpoint? Bruce Wayne is as much of a mask as Batman is. But giving that player agency to people and saying, you decide, how do you want to do this, to me was one of the most innovative and refreshing things in a world that's been completely inundated with Batman.
So, Mark, for you guys, when you're out there making this game, are you second guessing yourself every time? Because I feel like we want to do something fresh and different, but we got to have this, but we got to do that. And like when you get to a point where it is like, in all the choices in this one of like, all right, cool, am I going to confront Harvey as Bruce, or am I going to go as Batman? And then how that'll play out with either Gordon or Bruce being held at gunpoint and stuff like that.
Well, we absolutely get it right from the first go. We never change it. Sorry.
Nailed it right out the gate.
Nailed it.
Me too. Wow.
Yeah, right? It's
First
something
draft
about
every
Batman,
time.
just perfect always. No, there's a lot of back and forth and trying to figure out, does this feel like Bruce? Does this feel like Batman? Because we want to keep people excited with like the Thomas Wayne stuff and like surprise, your dad was a terrible person, things that no one ever would have thought before. Batman fans are perhaps some of the most like die-hard fans that you've ever had, and even in here, in the discussions we have in here, it's, everyone has different opinions of how things should be. So it is difficult to toe the line, but then at the end, when you get everyone's opinions together, you kind of come out with something really good.
Okay. So then, Henry, for you, when you're sitting down, because you were on Batman the Animated Series from the get-go, right? What was that like? I mean, I feel like now, with the rise of nerd culture, and I point at you because you're a huge dork.
Thank you.
But the rise of
Shucks.
everything. I remember growing up, and it was so hard to find Superman toys or Batman anything, and then now it's
sneaking around like alleyways
everywhere.
Like, hey man, you got Batman 45? Hey, give me.
It was really the success of Tim Burton's Batman.
Yeah.
Because when that came out and it was such a giant hit, Warner Brothers goes, oh, well, we should just do an animated series now. And fortunately, at the time at the studio, we were just finishing work on Tiny Toon Adventures, I think, and Bruce Timm was doing storyboards with Plucky Duck and Bugs Bunny, and I came into his cubicle one time, and I was like, what is that? And he's drawing the original Batman animated as a model sheet, and he goes, I'm trying to mix Fleischer and Alex Toth. And I'm like, that's beautiful and amazing. And over in the background painting department, the other producer, Eric Radomski, was just background artist, painter. He basically said, instead of actually painting the backgrounds on whiteboard, let's do them on black mat. So we start off with the show being black, dark, and then add color in. And those two forces, when they came together, it was just like, holy smokes, we're on to something special here.
Yeah, yeah.
And really, Fox supported doing something different, which was, okay, it's not going to be a colorful, light show. It's going to be moody, atmospheric, and every story was really written with us in mind. We weren't writing for children, we were writing for ourselves. And I think kids know it. When they see something, they go, oh, that's for me. I'm 6 years old. But they don't want what's for them. They want what's the adult. I really think that it was a really great time, because I know that series, I feel fortunate to have been part of it, really create a generation of Batman storytellers and help them realize that Batman can be anything. And I think Telltale is, a reflection of that.
And for me, what that speaks to is, number one, just kind of using your mythology thing, flash forwarding a little bit, flash forwarding. See what I did? Crossover. But for me, it's being able to understand that nobody owns these roles. It's like Shakespeare. Nobody owns King Lear. We are able to be custodians of these roles for a brief moment in time, and our job is to move that character as far forward as we can. If we leave it the same way we did when we first got into it, then we've done nothing. And that was even the process when we were recording this. This was not a walk in, here's your script, and let's get out. We could have finished our script a lot faster if we did not discuss and sometimes pine over every scene and really sit together and work as a team to make sure that I was doing the writers a good service, that the writers were servicing the story, that the characters were actually not only servicing the story, but also serving player agency, because this is not a TV show. It's not a film. It's not even a normal game. You are literally behind the wheel driving this. So how do we make sure that if someone chose this path, if they chose to save Harvey as opposed to saving Selina, that it doesn't feel like a completely different character, a completely different story? So the challenge becomes that. And I really have to give credit to the writers, because they busted their ass making sure that this was a story that fit shoulder to shoulder on the same shelf as what Frank Miller did, or what Bruce Timm did for the animated series, or even what Christopher Nolan did for those iconic movies, but still be able to be something that is uniquely its own and gave us the agency. Whereas a gamer, which is always the angle that I try to approach this as, I feel satisfied when I play this. I feel like I really did impact the world, and that the game was listening to the choices that I made.
I mean, directing any episode of any Telltale thing has got to be a huge honor and be a lot of pressure. But what about at episode 4? You're doing the one that introduces John Doe, who we assume will become the Joker.
Yeah, it's not for certain yet.
Yeah.
That was a big undertaking. There's a lot of people here who feel very passionately about who Joker is and what he does and how he does things. And it was really cool for me because it's my favorite point of the story is when the hero is most downtrodden. So we got Bruce, we wake up in Arkham, and he gets beat to hell.
Sure.
And he gets rescued by somebody who's been or will become his mortal enemy, basically.
Yeah.
Even as, I mean, Heath Ledger crushed it in Nolan's movies, but it was still something that was, and I don't mean this disparagingly at all, it was still something that was a familiar formula.
Sure.
To here's this mysterious character that just happens to arrive on this time, as opposed to someone who has been there, as he says, the entire time. I've been watching you, Bruce, for a long time. What? That's interesting. I was compelled when I was playing this to be grateful, to take his help. The thing that to me has always been one of the most fundamental characteristics of Joker, yes, it's manic, yes, it's evil, yes, it's dangerous, yes, it's funny, but you kind of want him to like you. You know what I mean? Like you want him to just hate everybody else, but you and I are cool. And whenever that happens, and referencing Killing Joke, even at the very, very end, that's the relationship that they have. It's like, why are you so mad? Come on, you and I are the exact same thing. How far can I push you? And that's what I always want to see in something that's Joker, where I want to be his best friend, and I love that he's provocative in the truest sense. He wants to push.
So you want him to like you. What did you do for the choice then? You know, Zaz is there, the thing's breaking off. Did you use that distraction to go to the phone?
Absolutely.
What are you doing? No, you're Batman.
You went to the phone?
I went to go use the phone.
You have to.
No, you don't.
You have to. In that situation, you have to.
Step up and try to do that. He's still Batman beneath the Bruce Wayne mask.
Yes.
See, this is
Also,
perfect.
Batman,
This is exactly what we want.
These are the conversations that we want to have, because this is why we made this game.
Yeah.
The reason why, and I played every Telltale game, and on this game specifically, normally, that little time bar is no problem. I was like, gee, God. I mean, Walking Dead, of course, we all know that was the closest that thing has ever gotten between that decision. But for this, it's, what do I do? And it's not 4 options, one being silent, it's 2. Do you want to stop the fight, or do you want to use the phone? And I went, I gotta be pragmatic. I have
Look
to
at the big
think.
picture.
I'm looking at the big picture.
That's really what this comes down to.
Batman is doing no good in here, because what's going to happen?
Look, there's security guards
He
there.
saves
There's
a life.
orderlies.
You save a life. Batman's doing no good. He would have saved that man's life.
But if you
picture, Greg,
understand
bigger
who
picture.
Zaz is, you understand that he is not going to rest until he rectifies the scar on his face. That's Zaz. I love that you wrote that in there too. I'm unbalanced. That was fantastic. So I chose an opportunity. I was pragmatic. I said, if I can get to the phone, and guess who I called? Called Gordon.
Yeah.
Called Gordon. That's my buddy. That's my ally. This is another thing that I love about these games is what I did in episode 1. There's still this thread of continuity all the way through to episode 4. I'm not gonna call my lawyers. What? Hey, I'm in here. Well, you're gonna have to wait a few days because we're not sure if we can post. You can post the bail. I'm a billionaire. I called Gordon, and Gordon was the one that got me out. I also love the fact that we really kind of waited and were very patient with Martha, because the implication is that both of your parents were bad. To be able to go, we're gonna really flip the script again, and before it was always Thomas Wayne, and like in Nolan's movies, they keep referencing that, but that beautiful scene, why do we fall, Bruce? Yeah. That's the Thomas Wayne that we're used to seeing, that's the Thomas Wayne that we love, not the horrific individual, tyrannical person that he was, but to still have the mother. And he even references that. Alfred even says it too when he talks about the theater. How long did that movie play there? Whenever you wanted. She made the arrangements. Those are like really cool, subtle things that I think a lot of people don't, a lot of developers don't invest in those moments. That's gonna be lost. Those are the things that people grab onto, and those are the things that I want us to keep putting into, to where you may miss it, you may not pick up on it the first time, but if you did, it tells its whole complete story.
Well, that's the whole thing where, before the phone call or the fight, right? For me, it was going up to every person in that room and being like, what do you know about John Doe?
That's what you did?
Yeah, because I thought, they're like, oh, he's been here forever. There's no record of him getting admitted. I'm like, what the hell? Why is no one, is this not mind-boggling to any of you? But like, with what you guys have done, Mark, and where you've taken it and how you've mutated this or done these little things, it is that thing of, you, as Telltale, are crazy enough to never do anything with him again. And maybe he wasn't. Maybe he was. You know, the Joker just doesn't ever exist in their universe. He's just some guy in this thing that's just chilling
just
out.
John Doe.
Totally fine to be there. And to your point, when I was Batman and saved a life, I was very upset. Of like, oh man, is John Doe going to talk to me? Is he going to be mad at me or anything else? And he didn't. And
Is he no longer my friend?
What did you do with the key?
I went around everything with it.
Okay, and then? I went to everything and then I walked up to the guard and I'm like, yo, I don't know, I shouldn't have this. I'm Batman! I'm good guy.
You're
the worst
Batman.
You're the worst Batman. Just want to let you know, by the way, I'm really a superhero. Wink, wink.
I
You and I are on the same
investigated,
side.
I wanted to know, come on, I needed to know what was happening.
You and I are just going to agree to disagree on this, man, because I think it's Bruce Wayne, you get to see the pragmatism, you get to see the brilliant detective of going, this is how to play this guy. That's why everything that I did was absolutely what that seems
Oh
fair.
no, totally. That's how I use.
Completely fair.
That's how I play my Bruce Wayne too, or I should say I play Batman. To me, like what you were saying, Henry, right?
There is no Bruce Wayne.
Bruce Wayne is the
There is
mask,
no-
and when
yeah.
he does that and he does this, he's totally acting. And so like at the end of this episode of like, do you want to go to Wayne Enterprises or do you want to save Wayne Manor? And I was like, Wayne Manor doesn't matter to me. I'm Batman. I care more about what's underneath Wayne Manor. I need to get to the thing. I'm getting off track. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us from Arkham Asylum himself, John Doe, Anthony. Hello, Anthony.
Hey, hello.
How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me digitally.
No, it's our pleasure. Please, you're the first Skype guest on the show, so don't screw it up for everybody else. But also don't make it look easy.
Hopefully
'cause
the internet will.
if you make it look easy, then we'll never get people like Troy up here again. Anthony, walk me through when I'm assuming you auditioned for this. Did you know you were auditioning for the Joker?
Yeah, it was very strange because the audition was fairly straightforward, but the script that was in the audition wasn't in the game. It was written much different. Like it was more like he was being interrogated, and it was very jokery. You know, a lot of like, oh, what are you talking about? You know, like a lot of weird stuff and a lot of laughing and a lot of that kind of stuff. And then when I got the part, I sort of thought, okay, well, they're going to want me to do it like Mark Hamill, obviously, so, I was doing my Mark Hamill voice and, walking around town talking like this, and then, and doing the, like that kind of stuff. And I thought, okay, yeah, that's going to be fun. And then I went into the recording studio and they sent me an entirely new script. And it was like, his name's John Doe. He's not quite the Joker yet.
He's a woman.
He can't do don't do Mark Hamill. Like he's pretending to be sane. So he's doing an impression of what he thinks a sane person sounds like.
Gotcha.
So when the doctor's there, he's like, "Oh, hi, Doc. Oh, nice to see you. The tablets are working." But but they wanted to layer it so that when at certain moments you would see that this guy's clearly messed up, but he'd be really like putting on his best behavior. So it was very challenging because playing this character that I'm a huge nerd as well, same as Troy. I think we all are, and it was very daunting to step into the shoes of this character that's 76 years old now. And has been portrayed so brilliantly, just numerous times. Heath Ledger, Jack Nicholson, Mark Hamill, and Troy, of course. That it's just a daunting thing to play this character, and also to play him so differently from what we're accustomed to seeing him as. I've read pretty much all the comics. I've seen pretty much every iteration of this character and in the video games as well, and I don't think I've ever seen the Joker pretending to be helpful. But that's Telltale, Thomas Wayne is a monster and the Joker's a nice guy. So I have no idea what's coming up. So it was very strange and a bit like, this is going to be controversial, like people are going to hate this and a lot of people are going to like it, so, it's really like, this is uncharted waters here, like, but see what happens. And I think, a lot of people loved it, some people didn't, and that's fine, that people have a very, a great love for this character. I do as well. And when you change it like that, you're either gonna hit something great or it's gonna upset people. And I think it is great. I think it's interesting to do this thing differently.
No, you don't listen to the internet haters. You did a great job. Everybody,
Yes,
you did a great job.
I agree.
Thank you, Brad.
If I could, to speak to one of your points, first of all, to be listed among the people that you just listed who played the Joker, that's huge. And maybe you just did that for brevity's sake, but
No.
there's,
They would edit around it. I'd be like, oh, except for that.
there you guys. I actually,
Troy, come on.
I have to give it to him because, some people said, what pressure having to step into Mark Hamill's shoes,
Yeah.
which I literally had to. It needed to point to a younger version of Mark Hamill, that we were in the Arkham universe, that's what fits into, so it really needed to feel like the same person. There's way less pressure to do that than there is, hey, how about you create something new? How about you really go off the rails? There's no safety net underneath you. And I think, to me, there's way more pressure. It's the same pressure that Heath Ledger had. It's like, whatever you do, don't do Cesar Romero. Whatever you do, don't do Jack Nicholson. Whatever you do, don't do Mark Hamill, Heath Ledger, Cesar Romero, John DiMaggio, Kevin Michael Richardson, Troy Baker. Don't do anything. You're like, well, shit, man. What else can I do? And there have been more people that have walked on the moon that have played the Joker. So I mean, it's a huge, huge daunting task. And dude, you had a mountain set before you and you scaled it. So very well done. And for me, as being someone who is equally as much of a Joker fan as I am a Batman fan, just because I think the Joker as a character, forget villain, is one of the most complex characters we've ever seen in literature. For you to be able to make that feel, again, the fundamental element that I want to see in my Batman is someone that I want to be my friend, or I want to be his friend. You made me feel that way. And so that just, I'm gonna do this thing back to you. It's a bat with the ball thing that we're doing, right?
Yeah,
Cool.
you're a big sports fan, I can tell.
But it's
Swish.
bat. He's got his bat.
Touchdown.
The bat, right? Okay.
Super meta.
Yeah, very good, very good.
I think there's a line when the psychologist basically says, John, show him around, and he says, yeah, I'll show him the whole 9 yards. That read is so great because there's so much menace in it and so much going on underneath. The subtlety I thought was amazing.
Oh, yeah, I think that's actually funny you point that out. I think that's probably my favorite line that I did, because that was where you see him. He's not putting on that voice, that "Hi, Doc," great to see you. But you hear him slip into what will become the Joker hopefully in season 2. Fingers crossed. You hear that for the first time, that the whole 9 yards, and he can't really contain it, and then he's got to, and that was so much fun to play that and to layer that in there. That was really great.
Yeah, and it was the chuckle too. That was one thing we talked about a lot, because you have the Hamill, and all the Jokers have the laugh is the big thing. But with our Joker, with John Doe, it was a lot of the trying to contain yourself, the kind of thing. That he thinks is hilarious. And the same thing when he's walking down the hallway and slams on the door with that poor inmate in there. It's like, shut up, dumbass! Wrong number, dumbass! It's the same kind of thing where you see the madness.
You see the cracks, yeah. You know that he's not all there. Yeah.
Trying to get through this meta level of what does Bruce know? Am I role playing, or am I playing as what I know? So that was a fun way to kind of get the Joker in there too, and it's really fun to hear you guys' reactions because of that.
I mean, that's the whole thing with, I think, the phone choice and me giving the key and everything, is that I'm fighting the thing of, I know you guys are so great so far at turning around the mythos, right? Like the Vicky Vale thing, totally. I made so much fun of Aaron last show because I trusted you. I went to you over Gordon because I trusted you more than the cops, and then in the end I get stabbed in the hand by you.
Yeah.
To get to this point where it's like, I know everyone thinks he's going to become the Joker, and he probably will become the Joker, and he probably will be the super evil force. But it's like, yeah, okay, I'll owe you a favor because it's like, I can turn on you when you get out if I needed to, but then I'm turning the key in because I don't want to get, what does this mean? What is this? I don't want to get, caught in he tells on me and there's so much. Yeah.
But this was that challenge was the same challenge that we had as far as on the performance side of it when we were shooting this, because I'm going in with my own bias. I'm like, there's absolutely, I'm like digging my heels in going, no, because I know there's no way that Bruce would drop his guard at all. There's no way that he would allow himself to align in any form of fashion, any kind of alliance with these people, because they're he's in a prison. He's in a prison for the criminally insane. So not only are they crazy, but they've also done, like he says, murder and mayhem. It's the that's what all of these people have done here.
Yeah.
So it was really a cool opportunity for me to unlearn and get rid of the prejudice that I had coming in as Batman, and be able to see, again, that adds a new layer of a fresh Batman, him going, okay, I'm gonna stay on my toes, but I'm not going to automatically assume, you're the Joker, you're the ventriloquist, you're Zaz, you know, it's just, these are people in here, but no big deal, these are people that I handle all the time. To be uncomfortable and off-put by it, but not to be guns ready was a cool challenge. And to me, that never even really cemented in my brain until I actually got to play it.
It's funny talking about like how the different characters evolve, or how, you know, maybe he is the Joker. Is Harvey Two-Face in your game? Like, does he have the burned face?
Oh, in mine?
No.
I saved Harvey.
Yeah.
But I did that not really in a relationship thing. It was more, I didn't think Harvey could handle himself.
100%.
Yep.
Selena, she'll be fine.
Yep.
She you know, scratched me. She fell from a great height and swung onto the rail car. She'll be fine. And be honest with you, Bruce Wayne can make it with any chick, you know. So, but it was more about, that's my friend.
Yeah.
And this is someone who I'm flirting with at the very, very most. So I saved Harvey. So and I also wanted to push the game a little bit further. I want to see if I could break it. I'm like Travis in that sense. I want to see how far I can go.
Sure.
To see where the psychotic break happens with Two-Face, because it's, you know, in the classic comic books, you know, falling into the ace chemicals or whatever that is, that we understand there's a specific moment where he becomes Two-Face. To see that just kind of bubbling underneath the surface, and really, I don't think there's ever really been an interpretation where Two-Face is talking through Harvey in the presence of other people so much in the third person. That was something that was really a new layer for me too. And even being someone who's played Two-Face before, I love what Travis is doing. The guy was made for this role. He has surprised me with how deep his voice can get, how menacing he can get, and also how affable and friendly he can be. Richard Mall, up to this point, has been my the template for not only Harvey Dent, but also for Two-Face. Travis Willingham, in my book, takes the cake. I believe him as Harvey Dent. I believe him as Two-Face. And that character, just like you said, is one of my favorites because he's the only one that's a friend.
Right.
He was a friend of Bruce Wayne. So yeah, that guy is just crushing it.
Until Bruce broke the bro code, right?
And that's the thing. It's his fault. It wasn't, well, now you're on the wrong side of the law. I gotta take you down.
It's personal. It's all personal.
You did this, man. You're one of the reasons why this psychotic break happened.
Yeah. We're running out of time. But before we go, ladies and gentlemen, we always like to show you a clip from the next episode of Batman, the Telltale series. So here it is, a clip from episode 5, the season finale.
I want a safer Gotham. A Gotham where working people can raise their families without fear of being robbed or stabbed or worse. I know I can make the city better. If only I...
Okay, I'll back you.
Come on, Bruce, that joke is in poor taste.
I'm serious, Harvey. I'll fund your campaign, completely. I've lived in Gotham my whole life, and I've never seen an official I could believe in. Until you.
Thank you, Bruce. I promise, I will not let you down.
Never even crossed my mind. The only real question is, this election or next?
We'll let the coin decide. Lucky. But someone has to die. Are you volunteering, Deborah?
Harvey!
Wayne! About damn time! I wasn't sure you'd come.
I came to help my friend, Harvey.
I don't want your help. I want you dead!
Love it. Looking good. I'm surprised you didn't let him just shoot Deborah, Troy. Henry?
I will say
what
this.
does one more body on the pile mean to you people?
There are some great ancillary characters, and Deborah is one of them. She's fantastic. That whole scene was like, I'll just call us a different car. She was fantastic. So I definitely don't want Deborah to die. Again, wonderful job by my boy Travis Willingham, crushing it as Harvey.
Yeah, it's fun because he does something with his voice.
I don't.
He does something different.
I don't. I just what you see is what you get.
Hey, you mean Troy
Rubber
Baker?
stamp. Rubber stamp. There you go. What is it called? What do we do? What's the name of the character? Doesn't really matter. I'm going to say it the same way. There we are. Oh, look, an award.
Guys, thank you so much for coming through today. Great stuff. Anthony, thank you so much for joining us. Really,
My pleasure. Thank you.
big fan of your interpretation. Also, real quick, love the fire and the fireplace and the setting. Is that like a giant portrait of you and Harrison Ford back there?
It is. It is. That's me with the man himself.
Just making sure.
That was. Yeah. If you want a movie to watch, Age of Adeline. It's a great movie.
All right, we're losing your connection. It's been a pleasure. We'll talk to you later. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Well done.
What a lovely young man. Episode 5, the season finale of Batman, the Telltale Series, is coming out in December. It might be out now by the time you watch it. It might have a release date by the time you watch this. So what I'm asking Telltale, just put it up in text. And if there's still nothing, just question marks. Now, is that a Riddler reference for season 2? No, it is not. They don't tell me anything. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back with another episode of Batman Unmasked. But until then, know it's been our pleasure to serve you.
This is the part where we lean in and have some conversation about things.